One thing that has consistently amazed me is the ability to draw people well. As far back as I can remember, I've been amazed by artists' original characters, and I've had ambitions of creating my own. Although I do make designs and pixel art for my games and maybe have a slight artistic eye, I've never put my effort into practicing drawing of any kind. Over the quarantine, I tried to start practicing drawing, but burnt out in only a few days and never went back, since creating other things like music and games seemed easier. Drawing people in particular is something I've never pursued because I've never felt confident enough to try. At the end of the day, it was my own insecurities and perfectionism that stopped me. I've always been very critical of myself, like a lot of artists are, but for this project, I was committed to the idea of growing past that and taking a step outside my comfort zone. I started practicing figure drawing at the beginning of this project, but I unfortunately did not progress very far. Since I was out with COVID for a majority of the time we were meant to be honing our skills, I do not have much to show for my product, just my practices. However, I have learned quite a bit about drawing people, I would say, for a complete beginner. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on the entirety of figure drawing at all, but I've just taken the first few steps. Some online resources I found after a quick Google search helped me learn a lot. I wanted to know the right way to break down the human form in my head. Some guide I found for beginners helped me take my first few steps. Using the head as a reference for the scale of the rest of the body, I drew lines to mark different key points that I saw. These landmarks were around the head, chest, and hips and are pictured here. When beginning a drawing, I would scan for these lines on the figure, trying to simplify the image I saw into a form on the paper. The next skill on the list was paying attention to the angles. I looked for the tilts of the shoulders and hips, and the angles the limbs made to inform my drawing. In general, I would first draw a very rough line of action and then begin adding more and more detail. I tried to construct the body out of the different shapes I saw in reference pictures. A strange misconception I had about drawing people as a beginner was that proportions were the thing to focus on first. And I think although proportions are probably really important later on down the line, focusing only on the placement of landmarks and angles helped rid me of my perfectionism. My drawings definitely aren't perfect, but I'm proud of the fact that I was able to grow some confidence. I used a website called Sketch Daily Reference, which supplied picture after picture of random gesture poses to use as reference. I simply repeated the drawing process over and over, although I don't have many drawings to show for it since I was out for most of the time. This project has been the starting point for my journey to start drawing people. Instead of feeling dread when tasked with drawing people, I find myself energized. Overall, completing these drawings has taught me to be less insecure about my skill level and to just simply go and practice. Thank you.